I'm going to show you how to make this paper airplane. This is the big nose plane, or some of my friends like to call it the Pinocchio plane. But we're going to go ahead and start by taking our paper, folding it in half, hot dog style here. Now, as always, we want to make sure these first few folds are as accurate as possible to help us as we go about the plane. Now, when we fold these corners towards the center line, we want to make sure that we don't fold directly on top of the line. We want to leave just a millimeter of space in between that center line and our edge, like so. Now, you can come a little bit closer, but it's okay if you have this much space. It's better to have more space than to have them butting up against each other. So now we're going to take this top right edge and the top left edge. We're going to fold them towards the center line. See, now when I pull this over, it starts to push this paper over. That's why we want to make sure we don't have it right on top of the line on that first fold. Now with this one, you can come a little bit closer to it. Go and increase that. Do it on the left side as well. Most important part with this one is to line up right there. We want to make sure those two pieces are as equal as possible. So we got a good fold right there. As you can see, these two are almost even all the way across. Now, from here, what we're going to do, we're going to fold down the top of this paper all the way to the bottom. Now, when you're doing this, it kind of, these pieces start to bow up a little bit. So I like to kind of just put my hand here and work it down gently without putting in any creases if I can. Once I line up the tip of that paper with the bottom, I'm going to pin it down with my finger and just kind of slowly work this down, making sure I get out any of these weird bends as I'm going. So if I press too fast, too quickly, I'm going to get a few wrinkles in the paper I might not want there. So, all right, after we do this, now what we're going to do, we're going to take this point right here, the bottom of this triangle, and we're going to fold it up. Now, you can play around with this step. I've found that if I fold it right where this edge piece meets the side of this triangle, that's typically when I find the best results for flying on this. So that's where we're going to make our fold, like so. You can obviously do a little bit more. You can make the nose of the plane smaller or bigger, and you can just kind of play around with it. So go ahead and fold your paper in half here. We got the body of the plane. Fold down the wings. I always like to make sure I start the wing wherever the nose of the plane meets the body of the plane. So right there is where I'm going to make my fold. I'm going to fold down. Now the paper is pretty thick right here, so you have to be careful when folding it. Just like so. Flip it over. Now with this one, obviously, as always, make sure when you're doing the second fold that's identical, you're trying to line the sides up as best as you can. Boom, just like that. All right, perfect. Now, what we're going to do here, we're going to take the edge of the wing and we're going to fold it up a little bit. Now, the reason we do this, it's not for style. When you throw this paper plane, there is a lot of weight on the top of this plane. So when you throw it, it's going to want to flip over. When you place these wing tips or flaps on the side, that's going to prevent it from flipping over when you throw the plane. Now, because this plane is front heavy, a lot of times I do like to put a little fold in the back, just kind of bend up the paper like so. Put a little bend in it going up. So you can play around with this. This is a fantastic plane. It gets a lot of distance. It is kind of a floater, and it's really fun to plane to make. Go ahead and mess around with the nose, making it bigger or longer. But there you have it, the big nose paper plane. Guys, make sure to subscribe and like. Thank you.